Unit 11 is called Data and Statistics, and so this always usually happens at the end of Algebra 1, and because you guys are going to be taking the Algebra 1 EOC, I want to go over it with you. So some data stuff. 11.1 is called dimensional analysis, kind of a fancy way for saying we're going to change a given unit into another equivalent unit. And so we'll start with something that everybody should be familiar with, which is time conversions. It says convert 7 minutes into seconds. So without even thinking about it too much, what I want you to get in the process of doing is taking the given 7 minutes, and we're going to make it a fraction. We're going to put it over 1. Then we're going to multiply another ratio. We want to turn minutes into seconds. So think about how can I have some kind of equivalent ratio of minutes to seconds? Well, there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. You have to have seconds over minutes here. And the reason is because we are multiplying fractions. And when we multiply fractions, we can cross simplify. Remember looking here and here, these are actually getting divided. So we're dividing out of 2, then we multiply straight across. That's what I want to do with my units. So I'm taking minutes divided by minutes, they cancel. Now I'll be in seconds. So I just multiply straight across, 7 times 60. Well, 7 times 6 is 42, add a 0. So that's 420 seconds over 1 times 1 is 1, which is still just 420. So I know on that one, you could simply think, okay, well, 7 minutes, 60 seconds per minute, so multiply. Well, they're going to get harder. That was actually an easy one, just so you could kind of see the setup. So let's start with number 2. They want us to convert 2 ounces into grams. Round your answer to the nearest whole number. So let's start by putting 2 ounces, which is the abbreviation OZ, over 1. I need another fraction here that's going to have ounces in the denominator because I want to cross cancel my units. And so they'll always give you the conversions on Delta Math. You don't have to worry about memorizing. But I need to find something about ounces into grams. Ounces into grams. I see it right here. 1 ounce is equal to 28.35 grams. So I'll put the 1 ounce here. So it doesn't have to go in this order. It can be this is numerator, this is denominator, this is numerator, this is denominator. So it just so happens that, again, I'm going to be multiplying 2 times 28.35, multiplying the top numbers over 1 times 1 is 1, so I don't get a denominator. But see how ounces are canceling out, and I'll be in grams. So then that gives me 56.7 grams. Okay, done with that one. Number 3, they get a little harder. It says convert 7,800 yards into kilometers. Round your answer to the nearest hundredth. Oh, I already forgot I didn't round correctly on this one. Nearest whole number should have been 57 grams. Pay attention to what they say it around to because it changes. All right, so we're going to start with our 7,800 yards. Put it over 1 if you want. I need another fraction that has yards to something. Here's yards to feet. So I see yards here. That's the only thing I see with yards, so I'm going to have to use that. So 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. That'll now get me out of feet, or into feet. And then I need to go from feet to kilometers. I see feet to meters, and then I see meters to kilometers. So it makes kind of a linking here. So let's do this one next. That I would want my feet on the bottom. 1 foot is equal to 0.305 meters. That would get me out of feet into meters. And then I would go here. That 1,000 meters, so I'd want my meters on the bottom, 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. Okay, so how I'm going to get my answer is multiply everything on the top, get that to be a number, multiply everything on the bottom, get that to be a number, and then last is to divide. Oh, I'm doing plus. 7,800 times 3 times 0.305 times 1, 713, 37. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1,000 is 1,000. if you know, dividing by powers of 10, that's just going to have 3, move the decimal back 3 places. That's 7.137, or if you divide on your calculator, you get that as well. And it said to the nearest hundredth, so that'll become 7.14 kilometers. Okay, and then number 4. Density of a certain material is such that it weighs 5 ounces per gallon of volume. So see how there's a per. So we've got some kind of unit per unit for volume. Express this density in pounds per cubic meter. So we're going to write 5 ounces per 1 gallon. That's how you would read this. 5 ounces to every 1 gallon. We want to change ounces into pounds, which I actually see that on the very first row here. That in 16 ounces, so 1 pound. So I've got that done. Now I need to go from gallons to cubic meters. So I need to find gallons. Gallons goes to quarts. Gallons goes to liters. So I like this. Gallon goes to liters, and then liters can go to cubic meters. So it's going to take 2 steps. So I'll have, where I've got gallons here, I need to put it diagonal, so gallons will go on top. Liters, and then to get from liters, I'll have to put liters on top. It'd be 1,000 liters and 1 cubic meter. Why do I keep putting centimeter? I kept thinking centimeter earlier too. Okay, so then you multiply straight across, so it'd be 5 times 1 times 1 times 1,000. It's 5,000, and that's in pounds. And then 1 times 16 times 1 times 3.785 is 60.56 cubic meters. And so then you would divide that. And it says nearest tenths, that would be 82.6 pounds per cubic meter. And that's it. That's called dimensional analysis.